Yeah, it was really shocking, to be honest. When we first walked in, to see the debris everywhere it was shocking. You don't know what to think. You can't tell the extent of the damage, by looking at it. And then we were feeling really positive. We all cracked on, got it tidied up, thought, right, we can replace this, we can do that. And then over the weekend, actually, as the messages of support were coming in, it just became really overwhelming in a good way. But also myself and the centre manager Claire, we just felt really vulnerable. We thought this could have happened while we were in there.
Yeah.
And so it's been a real mixture of emotions that we've felt.
Yeah.
But we're plodding on.
I was going to say, does it point to a wider issue? I mean, it's probably happened because the pipes haven't been on due to a cost of living crisis. People can't afford to live their homes. Does it point to that bigger issue, do you think?
That's what we think. I mean, we don't know. It happened, it initially happened, as far as we can gather, 2 floors above us. So we don't know the true cause, but we think that. And we went to do the banking on Friday at NatWest, and they had the same problem. And I think Ashton, there's a lot of flats, there's a lot of residential places above commercial, and sadly, we're hearing people can't afford.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, our electricity cost is near enough £800 a month, and we know that will rise because we're having the heater on all the time, and we have to.
Yeah.
We can't get that funded. Funders don't like funding things like that. It's not, it's not something you can hold in your hand, which is what a lot of grants like to see. So before this, we were already worried, and now we've got these big machines on to try and dry the place out, and the heating 24/7. It's a real concern.
Yeah, it's going to add up. It is a real concern. But like I said, then it's £800 at the moment. It's going to rise. How does a company or an organisation like yours plan for that? Can you plan for it? How do you make it work?
I mean, we never thought it would be that much. I don't know if we were being naive with that, but it has increased dramatically. So in terms of planning, we have to do that to keep going. We're going to have to. But what that means is we have to free up the capacity to really get our business head on, our fundraising head on, and that takes us away from the support, which is what we want to do. We are really good at responding to crisis, whatever comes through that door.
Yeah.
And if one of us is just totally focusing on business and funding, then that's a lot of people that we're not supporting.
Yeah, it's a centre of refuge for a lot of people. A lot of people just in normal times go through hard times, but especially now. So what's the response been like from them? It must be just one of devastation like yourself.
Yeah, people are completely... But what's come out of this is the support. People, it tends to be those who haven't got who are the first ones to offer support to us. Yeah. And a lot of that is because they've received support in the past from us, and they know what it means to keep open. And it's just really ironic, isn't it, that if it's happened because of the cost of living crisis, that's why we're needed now more than ever, and it's put us under threat. Yeah. So it's like it is ironic, and it's something we've just got to literally dust ourselves down and crack on. Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, but one of the knock-on effects of this is that you've had to cancel the Christmas Day opening. Tell us a bit about this. I mean, how many people were you expected to accommodate on Christmas Day? We didn't know. To be completely honest, we'd not made firm plans because we didn't know who was going to come out because of transport. Obviously the public transport, there's no trains at the best of times. Our clientele can't afford taxis. So what we'd done a little bit of consultation saying, would you come out? Would you like to come out on New Year's Eve? Because we've done all this in the past. And the general feeling was that they would like to do something in the run up to Christmas. Right. So our plans were to host a community Christmas Day where we knew there would be a dozen people around the table all together who will be alone. And we thought we were going to have to cancel that. But we've had an outpouring of support from other charities, and we're going to be holding it on Wednesday at the Anthony Seddon Centre instead. So we're not cancelling any plans. We've just adjusted them, and we'll just crack on. Yeah, so a bit of a silver lining. But have you launched, say, Just Giving page or a crowdfunder to maybe generate funds to compensate for these costs? Yeah, we have. A lot of the reason for that as well was because we lost so much food. Items obviously within the community centre, but also toys for Christmas and clothing. But the problem was we couldn't replace them because it's still damp there. Right. We didn't know how safe it was, so we wasn't encouraging people to come and drop things off. So we've had to say, if you can help and you want to help in that way, then it's there. But we know how people are struggling, so we've put it on every post, but we've not really pushed it because we don't want people to feel like they have to. You know, we will crack on regardless.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And of course, you're not just involved with Affinity. I guess you've got a direct relationship with Curzon. You're part of the board here. You've worked with Andy in the past as part of the community drive. So tell us a bit about your role here and what you do.
Yeah, it's initially we worked with them as partners, as community partners, Infinity and Curzon, and then myself and when Andy was here, we saw that there was definitely a need for some more community focused work. That would benefit the club, and then in turn how the club could benefit the community. So we formed the foundation, we applied and got charitable status on that, so we're able to obviously go for funds that are outside of the club. And then since then we've recruited a new foundation manager in Mike, and we're just across Tameside, you know, a lot of the work does go in the Waterloo ward, but we're doing a lot of work across Tameside and even further afield in terms of targeting those who are the most vulnerable and the most isolated. So my work there is as a trustee and part of the board, but I do try and like to get as hands-on as possible, which is why I'm here tonight to dish out the presents to the disability team. Yeah,
brilliant stuff. And of course your efforts have been rewarded recently. You've been named as the club's community captain. We had it in our a few weeks ago, actually it was in the Reporter. So tell us a bit about this, just for listeners that might not be aware of it.
Yeah, I was really shocked actually. So the Premier League is 30 years old, and in response to that they'd invited clubs within a certain level to nominate someone who's their community captain, who does work within the community and has a vested interest in football. So when they told me here that they'd put me forward, it was a privilege really. I was a bit embarrassed at first, but it's nice to be recognised, and also it does us as a foundation no harm in that extra publicity, because the same with Infinity and with this awful disaster, we're putting it out there and people are flooding us with messages of encouragement and support, but also the more visible we are, the more people we can help, because they come to us and say, actually, can you help me with this? So we do welcome anything that will help us spread the word.